How many times have you set out to completely change your life and do the good habits, but you inevitably slip back into your old ways, and then you beat yourself up because you know what you should be doing. You want to do the good habits, but you don't want to do them. Let me explain that last part again. Your wants are the things you wish you wanted to do, and your wants are the things you actually wake up and feel like doing. So I can give you an example. Your wants is, I want to be someone who is in shape. I want to be someone who wakes up and I work out and then I eat really good food. But then when you do actually wake up, you don't feel like going to the gym, so you don't go to the gym. You don't feel like eating clean, so you don't eat clean. Right? I hope you understand what I mean by your wants versus your wants. If that's happened to you, and I think that's happened to so many people, I think it's important you learn about the science of behavioral change. So I was listening to this podcast just called Diary of a CEO by, I think his name is Stephen Bartlett, and he had Dr. Joe Dispenza on. And I think he's a psychologist who studies behavioral change. And it's simply, what are the things that actually change human behavior, right? We all have all these goals, New Year's resolutions and everything like that. But what happens to those of us that actually change? And in this video, I'm going to go through all the main takeaways I took from that video, from that podcast, because I did take down a list of things because I just felt it was so good. And it's just things we haven't heard before, because we usually hear about motivation, discipline, find your why and all of that. And it's like, how do we actually put that into practice? How do we actually become those people? And the first main takeaway I got from this, and it ties in very well with a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, which I highly recommend. You tie those two in, like they are truly the only self-improvement things you need, because they actually talk about behavioral change. And the first takeaway was that you need to use visualizations and meditations to change your life. Now, we've all heard about visualizations and meditations, and it all sounds like goofy law of attraction kind of stuff, but it's not. It is truly scientific, and I'm going to explain how. We are 95% unconscious, right? Our actions are 95% unconscious. You go to sleep, you're unconscious, but your brain, your body is doing all these things, right? When you wake up and you want to go to the bathroom, that's unconscious. Your body's telling you to go to the bathroom. When you feel like eating, like our emotions, we like to talk about how we're very logical, we have a massive prefrontal cortex, but that prefrontal cortex is simply there. I don't want to say simply there, but majority of the prefrontal cortex is meant to analyze social situations. Otherwise, most of the things we do are emotional, right? The emotions that have been evolved over tens of thousands of years to regulate the way we act so we can stay alive, right? So when you eat at a specific time every single day, your body releases, I don't know what the hormone is, but it releases hormones every day at that time to tell you it's time to go to eat. That's an example of unconscious behavior. And 95% of your behavior is unconscious. That's why when you are conscious and you tell yourself, I need to wake up tomorrow and start doing all the good habits so I can achieve this, that's conscious. But then in the morning when your alarm goes off, you're tired and your body just pulls you back into sleep. And it's very strong. I'm sure you felt it. It's very, very strong. That which pulls you down. That's your unconscious. Your unconscious telling you. So the first thing you need to learn is you don't want to fight your unconscious. You want to change it over time. And how do you change that? Through visualizations and meditation. Right. So with visualizations, and this is something I learned properly in Psycho-Cybernetics, and I used it and it actually has been working. Right? You want to spend 21 days doing 30 minutes of visualizations, vivid visualizations, right? You visualize tomorrow from when I wake up, when my alarm goes off, how am I going to feel, right? Or how do I want to feel? And what is the ideal me going to do, right? It's gonna be a bit cold, the alarm's gonna go off, but ideal me will have no problem getting out of bed. I'll jump straight out of bed, I'll put on my slops, I'll go and I'll change, I'll turn on the light, it'll be really bright in my eyes, then I'll go to the bathroom, I'll brush my teeth, yada yada yada, from start to finish. And you really wanna think about those emotions you're gonna be feeling. What everything's going to feel like, how the sun is going to feel on your face, how you're going to feel when you're actually doing work, right? So that when you're actually doing it, it's easier, right? Because you're working on changing your unconscious, right? And if you're not convinced, I can give you some studies I've heard. I mean, you obviously see athletes speak about visualizations all the time, right? They speak about visualizations, that they visualize themselves scoring and all of this. And a lot of us would just think, yada, 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 it's just law of attraction, BS, like you're really talented, that's why you did it. But it is serious when it comes to behavioral change. They did a study where they took basically two groups of people who had never played basketball before, and they told one group to physically practice shooting. Right, I think they said for 20 minutes every day for a week or whatever the time period was. Then they told the other group to visualize themselves shooting hoops for 20 minutes every single day. They did not touch a single basketball. And if you can hear about what I'm speaking, if you're listening to what I'm speaking about now, you can kind of guess what happened. The group that was told to visualize shooting the basketballs ended up having a better success rate, when they actually did a competition, than the ones who physically practiced, because that's how important behavioral change is, right? And another thing I did learn from Dr. Joe Dispenza along this line is that when you do have a relapse, right? When you say, oh, I'm going to eat clean or whatever, and then, it's 10 p.m. or whatever, and you just raid the cabinet with all the cookies and everything. The reason that happens is that you've gone unconscious, right? And, that's fine. Like I said, your 95% of your behaviors are unconscious, right? But when that happens, that's your unconscious taking over, right? And what you need to do, this is where meditation kicks in, right? Is you need to be able to see when you're going unconscious. You need to be able to feel when oh, I'm not very present right now. Then you meditate. You meditate and you picture your ideal self. What would they do in that situation? Right? What would they do when the cravings are coming? What would you tell yourself? Right? And then picture yourself. Okay, I tell myself I'm an athlete. I don't eat junk. I eat clean food because it's good for my body and it's good for my mind, and it's just the type of person I am. And then you picture yourself not raiding the kitchen cabinet. If you're not supposed to be eating at that time, you picture yourself going and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Or if you are supposed to be eating, you picture yourself eating something clean. Right? That is how you truly change your behavior. Right? So I want you to remember that when you do relapse, it's because you've gone unconscious and your unconscious brain is taking over. And while you're in the process of changing that unconscious brain through your visualizations, you obviously still have your old brain, right? And you're gonna have moments like that where you do feel like you're gonna relapse. And all that is that you're going unconscious and you need to meditate to put yourself back in a state of consciousness, so you can tell yourself, no, I'm not this type of person, I do this, right? And then it goes to another thing that Dr. Joe Dispenza was speaking about, and he said that it's important to romanticize the future than the past. And this ties in with visualizations, right? You spend a lot of time thinking about the past, oh, it would have been so good if it went this way or whatever it is, but you can't really change the past, right? But when you romanticize the future, that's in line with visualizations, right? And as I said, it's very, very important to distinguish, right? Because as a Christian, I don't believe in law of attraction BS. It's new age spiritualism. It's important to distinguish that this is not law of attraction BS. This is behavioral change, right? You want to romanticize the future, because what happens is that when you romanticize the future, you're changing your beliefs, and all beliefs are repeated thoughts. And I'm sure you've heard this over and over again, right? You should think positive, tell yourself affirmations and all that. And as I said, not law of attraction BS, but it's behavioral change. When you picture yourself in the future doing something, and you do that repeatedly over and over again, your belief about yourself actually changes. And once your belief about yourself changes, your actions change, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza had a moment where he spoke about, everyone. We've all had moments where we've decided to make change with some firm conviction, so much so that our body actually responded to our mind, and we actually started changing, right? We had that moment where we were like, whatever it was, all right? And I remember Hamza, when I was watching one of his videos in 2022, he spoke about an FTE, right? An F this event, like something bad happens that makes you want to change your life. That ties in with this. We've all had a moment where you've really decided, I'm going to change my life this time. And what happened was you did actually you didn't end up changing your life over a long period of time because of the snapback effect, which is something I got from psychocybernetics, which is tying in with what I'm saying about the unconscious thing, which is, yeah, okay, you've decided I'm going to do this I'm going to change my life and everything, and you get the feeling for a couple of days, and then you go unconscious, and then your unconscious snaps you back to reality, right? But in that moment, you truly believed like, I'm going to change my life, and you actually changed. And what happened was that your mind, right, finally communicated. It finally got a hold of the destiny, right? Your future destiny. You're like, this is what I'm going to be in the future, right? This is where I'm going, and your mind believed it with so much conviction that your body aligned with your destiny. And once your body aligned with your destiny, your actions aligned with your destiny. And you do that over a long enough period of time. You do that every single day. Eventually you get to your destiny, right? And it ties into what I was saying about the belief. Well, not what I was saying. I mean, I was saying it, but this is Dr. Joe Dispenza's findings. But I'm just telling them out to you again, right? When you change your actions, right? When you change your mind, your body aligns with your destiny, your actions change. You keep doing that. You change what you believe about yourself, because belief is simply a result of repeated thoughts. You change what you believe about yourself, you change the way you act, and you actually change your life. That's how you change what you do. And you also need to remember, when you do go unconscious, it's a simple case of meditate, right? Put yourself back in that state. Because obviously, like I said, humans are emotional creatures. That emotion you experience so vividly is what made you change your actions, but it dissipates over time, right? And then that's when the unconscious steps in again. And that's why you use meditation to change your mindset again, so you can align with your destiny and start doing the good habits. Yeah. I was just looking through my notes to see if I missed anything, and I think I've basically covered everything, right? So just to wrap up, if you truly want to change your behavior, it's important to remember that 95% of your actions are unconscious. We're emotional beings. Emotions regulate everything we do, basically, like I said, 95%, right? And it's important to focus on changing your unconscious, and you change your unconscious through visualizations, right? And then when you do relapse, it's because you've gone unconscious again. You've gone to your old brain, right? Because the feeling that you had when you started changing your unconscious has dissipated, and you need to meditate. Picture yourself, rehearse how you'd act in certain situations, and this goes part of like the visualizations I was speaking about, right? You visualize, okay, at about 12 p.m. I'm gonna have this massive craving for ice cream. But what is the ideal me gonna do? What is the ideal me gonna tell himself? Oh, I don't eat ice cream. I'm an athlete, right? I don't put junk in my body. And then what is he gonna do after that? Oh, I'm not supposed to be eating at 12 o'clock, or my new eating time is 2 p.m. or whatever. Oh, I'm gonna go do the work that I'm supposed to be doing, whatever it is. And you picture yourself doing that, right? And then when that situation occurs, you do it. And if you feel like it doesn't seem like I'm gonna do it, that's preemptive of the fact that you're going to go unconscious again. So you meditate and you put yourself back into that state of belief. You picture yourself again. What is ideal me going to do? And then you do it. But yeah, that's all I've got for the video. Make sure you guys hit subscribe to join the Self-Improvement Brotherhood. And until next time, I'll see you boys.